We have a white card at microphone 3, please.
As we're waiting, may I make a synod short? Is that possible?
Boy, that's a... I'm sorry. It was just...
I'm sorry. It didn't even occur to me.
It was just hanging there in the air, you know? Pastor Shelley Bryan Wee.
Thank you. As some of you might know, I am the Lutheran campus pastor at Eastern Washington University, and we have a benefit dinner and auction coming up on April 30th. And this is really specifically for those who are in the geographical area of Eastern Washington University, because I don't want to step on the toes of my other two colleagues in campus ministry. So, for those of you in that area of our synod, I would like to invite you, on behalf of Lutheran Campus Ministry, to come to our benefit dinner on April 30th. It starts at 5 o'clock. It's at Advent Lutheran Church. It is a complimentary dinner of pulled pork sandwiches and portobello mushroom sandwiches, if you prefer not to eat pulled pork. And complimentary, which means it is free to come to this dinner. There will be wine and beer that we ask for a little donation, and but you don't have to. You could just take it. And if you are interested in having what I would love to have for those churches in the geographical area is for you each to at least have one table of 8 each. It is free to come. Did I mention that? Free. So, exactly. Exactly. And there is an auction. So, I mean, of course you will be asked to give money, but you don't have to. So if churches in that geographical area could come and support Lutheran Campus Ministry at Eastern Washington University, a table of 8, and also each church in that area, if you would donate one dessert, because we do have a dessert auction, I would be more than so happy. And you can come talk to me about that. I am leaving early tomorrow morning, so you could talk to Matt. You can talk to him tomorrow if I'm not here. But anyway, I would love to have you come. April 30th, 5 o'clock, Advent Lutheran Church. Thank you.
That was a long short.
I know. Sorry. It was. Sometimes I am like that.
Do we have a ballot report yet? Counters are not quite done with their work. So, at some danger, we welcome others who might have a brief synod short to present. Come to a microphone. Microphone 3.
This is sharing some opportunities for stewardship education. Mark Reiki, who is our ELCA campaign consultant, as a gift to the Synod, is offering workshops around the Synod, and we have 4 scheduled already. On April 30th, there'll be one in Moses Lake. Then in mid-May, there'll be one in the Tri-Cities, one in Pullman, and one in Spokane Valley, and you'll be receiving notification about that. But it's an opportunity for anyone and everyone to come to receive stewardship education from somebody who's a consultant to the whole ELCA campaign for us, and he's got a lot of skill in this area.
Thank you. Microphone 2.
The Upper Snake River Valley, Treasure Valley clusters with our networker will be meeting in the Sapphire Room for our meeting instead of whatever room we were assigned to, which is basically the lounge of the hotel.
So...
But Sapphire Room sounds so much nicer.
So you're not in Cinnabar, you're in Sapphire.
Yeah, take out Cinna, and we're in the bar. Because we're not Cinnas.
Please let there be an election report. Microphone 3.
Elaine Harrison from Holden Village. I just want to have you all know we are alive and well. We cannot have guests in the village yet because of the fire, but we do have work opportunities where you can come for a week, and they'll be a little heavier on program than they will be on work. But if we call you workers, we can welcome you into the village. So you can stop by and see when those weeks are. Thank you all for holding us in your prayers. We had a difficult summer, and we all made it through. The village is in really good shape. The only damage was water damage, and that was on the porches because we put sprinklers there. So do come and see us, and check out when the work is this summer.
And this is Come As You Are, he calls it. We've got a little band of people who just like to get together and play guitars and mandolins and flutes, and they sing songs, and we have a casual service, and we're pretty excited about that. We had over 30 people there the first time that we did this last week. So I think that's really encouraging, and I would like to thank Andy for all of his ideas and all the other things that we continued to support throughout. So nice assembly. Thank you. I enjoyed meeting a lot of you. And everybody have a safe trip home.
Hi, I'm Robin from Shepherd of the Mountains in Jackson, and we'd like to extend an invitation to all of you. If you don't know, there's going to be a total eclipse in August of 2017. And Jackson has the good fortune to be on the direct path of the full eclipse, where it will be total darkness. We are planning a worship service for the total eclipse to celebrate God's creation. And you are all invited to join us. I believe the date, but you might want to, check the internet or other sources, is August 21st, 2017. So that's a little over a year from now, but lodging is already filling fast. So plan your vacation accordingly. We'd love to have you join us. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Helga Janssens, Director for Evangelical Mission, and I would like to make two short announcements. One is one that I referred to yesterday about the consultations about stewardship education, and I didn't give dates and places, so I'd like to give you those. And everybody's welcome to these stewardship education opportunities that Mark Reiki, who is directing our ELCA campaign, is offering around the Synod. And like I said yesterday, these are just the beginning. There'll be one coming around to across the Synod. But the first one is on April 30th, which is Saturday from 9 till noon in Moses Lake, at Emmanuel Moses Lake. Then the next one is May 18th, which is a Wednesday, and it's at Advent Lutheran in Spokane Valley. That's from 5:30 till 8:30. Again, you can invite anybody from the congregation who might be interested in stewardship education in a new way by somebody who's done fundraising, campaigns, and a lot of stewardship education. That's his career path. That's what he specializes in. The next one is at Lord of Life in Kennewick, 5:30 till 8:30. And on the 19th, that's Thursday, the 19th. And then the last one we've got scheduled so far is in Pullman, and it will be from 9 till noon on Saturday, the 21st. So that's the first short announcement. The other one is coaching. We have now 9 people who are trained to be coaches across the Synod. Why would you need a coach? You might need a coach if you were a stewardship chairperson and you really don't know what resources are available and how to lead stewardship, and you've had some challenges in leading stewardship across, in the congregation. You might want a coach if you're a pastor. I have a coach monthly. And a lot of DEMs have coaches, a lot of pastors have coaches, a lot of leaders do. The idea there is to have somebody that you connect with, somebody that listens to you and can ask you good questions like, what is working well right now? How did it go with your plan that you intended last month? So it helps us to articulate what we're working on, and to discern a focus, and to be more intentional, as well as to decide, okay, so what are the next steps? And how will you go about doing that? And what do you think the time frame will be? When will you know? How will you know if you're doing well with that? What do you think? What would you expect? 10 people to come to that? 5 people to come to that? It helps you to just think through what it is that you're intending to do and what matters most to you. So there will be coaches available to you, and you'll find out more through the Synod website and through emails. But you can always contact me to find out, when are they available, where are they. So, it's easy to remember my email address. It's just helga.jansons@elca.org, or just contact the Synod to find out when those coaches are available. They would be available in the next few months. What? Advent in Spokane Valley? That one was Wednesday, the May 18th, 5:30 to 8:30. It includes meal at dinner. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Good morning. Good morning, brothers and sisters. This has been a fabulous, fabulous assembly. I'm Mark Bender from American Lutheran in Newport. And I'm not sure the dates, but some 5 or 6 years ago, a doctor from Newport went to Haiti it was after the earthquake, and began working, in his spare time with the people in Haiti. About a week ago, 18 congregants from our church, plus we picked up one that we lost some years ago, but we picked her up on the way. And 16-year-old and up just got back from Haiti on a 10-day mission trip. One of the young men had never flown in an airplane, much less been out of North Idaho. There were teachers, principals, doctors, one doctor, and his daughter, and they helped build a school. Life-changing. I wasn't able to go, but it's things like Margie's doing. The amount of life-changing experience is phenomenal. We're going to have I'm not sure what day we're going to have the Haiti service at church, but it should be on the website. If you want to see some beautiful young children and old Jimmy Buffetts, you can go to our Facebook page. It's just American Lutheran Church in Newport, and just some beautiful pictures, but a life-changing experience. And that's what we've heard here today. The other thing I would like to say, and I thought of this yesterday, Eric, I just want to lift you up for what you did on that video. I've asked Kathy to give me personally, because the pastors have so much to do. I would like, as the president, to be able to show that video to our congregation. I'm sure that a lot of you would like to just do that on your own, but Eric, I just want to publicly lift you up for sharing that experience that you did on that. Thanks, man. Because I've spent some time with you, and it's, thanks.
I'm Betty Kraft, currently serving at St. Paul Lutheran in Chewelah. But what I want to lift up today is mission interpreters. We love Synod Shorts. It's consistently been one of the highest rated events that we have here at Synod Assembly. Definitely beats out the business meeting, or the budget is great. But you can have this experience in your congregation. We are looking for people to be mission interpreters in their congregation, to tell the story of what's going on in our synod, what's going on in the ELCA overall, and what's going on in around the world. We have global missions, our companion synod, just amazing things that are happening. And that word often doesn't get out. So these would be liaison people that would be tied into your network or Facebook page and other ways of communication. You do get trained to do this, and it's like having synod shorts every Sunday or once a month or however often you decide to have it. We as Lutherans are doing amazing things around the world. We have a hospital in Israel, in Jerusalem. We serve, the earthquake in Nepal. We were there. Floods in the south. We were there. And congregations in our synod get money from our domestic hunger grants. I know when I was at St. Peter in Hilliard, that those hunger grants kept our food pantry open. So not only it gives you access to resources that could be available to your congregation, but also to just know that your mission dollars, your benevolence, is helping keep ministry alive. There's a fishing boat up in Alaska that goes from port to port to serve these little villages, congregations of 8 people. Your mission dollars help support that ministry so those people can worship. So I want to thank you all for your support. I have 2 things of great interest at my table back in the corner next to Marge with Global Mission. The first is I would hope that you would all take back a folder on where your dollars go, where your offerings go. And secondly, come back and get some M&Ms and read the label on the front. Thanks so much. And if you think you might be interested in being a mission interpreter, please sign the sign-up sheet. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Pastor Peg Harvey Morose from Lewiston-Idaho, and I want to report on something that actually started at the last Synod Assembly. I was sitting with the laywoman from our congregation who attended last year, and she reached out and she touched my arm and she said, "I just had a vision." And I looked at her and I said, "You're Lutheran." But anyway, this was her vision. She said, "I see a little cart with books, children's books. We have a free community dinner." And her idea was to have this cart with these books and to distribute books and have a story time to go along with our community dinner. And literacy had been one of the things that our local elementary school principal had told us was a huge issue. So I said, "What can I do to help?" And she took the reins, and last June we started our Come Read With Us literacy project, and we have been distributing books to kids of all ages, and it's just been this amazing process of her having to say over and over again, "I had a vision." But just one little statistic that she discovered after the vision is that children who live in poverty, only 1 in 300 owns a book. 1 in 300. So we're doing our little part to help change that statistic. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Pastor Gail Hart from the Scumenicum cluster. Can you say that? Scumenicum? Try again. Oh, good. And that means meeting of the waters. And the 2 churches I serve are on the Clearwater River at Orofino and Kamei. And we had a terrible fire that some of you may have donated emergency fire money toward. 65 homes were burned around Kamei. It was really a very desperate situation, and the prayers the Lord undertook and the town didn't burn up, or the other one, or the prairie. And money came. Our Bishop Martin earmarked some for Kamei and some for Orofino. Kamei sent their money to a well-managed fund that went to building houses. 3 homes have been rebuilt, and $4,000 of that money we were given went straight to help rebuild homes. And the mills have donated wood, and people have all pulled together. Down in Orofino, the money went to the Lifeline Food Bank as well as an emergency need fund. The Lifeline administrator was Ray's Lutheran, and he came to speak at our church. He was so grateful for $800. He said it would do miracles because the amount of hungry people in Orofino had just accelerated. He told this story that he had 19 packages of meat. This is a credible man who was principal of the high school. And he said he counted them twice. 25 people came in and they got meat. So you see, God is doing a miracle. That gave me the chills that if God is doing a miracle through the food bank, then we need to move into that miracle. And so we're having a fish fry on Pentecost so we can have donations and more money for the food bank. So I'm excited by it, and it seems to have caught the imagination. We're having an ecumenical dinner at the VFW Hall for Oktoberfest with the money to go to the food pantry. So thank you very much for your prayers and your donations.
My name is Jeff Nelson. I'm a lay delegate from Central Lutheran in Yakima. I want to give you an update on a program. 5 years ago, the Synod gave a share grant to begin an after-school mentoring, tutoring program at our church. We call it On the Corner. Our church is located about halfway between an elementary school and a middle school. This share grant funded at the beginning 20 students to come. We help them with their homework, they get a snack, and have various activities. This is 5 years ago. At the present time, we're up to 70 kids who come on a regular basis. We have a paid administrator, and the rest of the people are all volunteers from the community and from our church. The way it's organized is we divide the children into classes. I help with the third graders, and I look forward to that twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 3 and 5:30 in the afternoon. And it gives me the energy that a 75-year-old man needs to be around children. They come, they get a snack. We coordinate with the teachers, especially at the elementary school, with what these children need, reading mostly, and mathematics, and it's been a wonderful program. Within the last year, because of several wealthy families in our church, we've built a $1.3 million gymnasium. And on Thursday afternoons, these children go in, and we have a lady who's a coach at one of the high schools who comes and directs their physical activity for them, and it's been a wonderful gift to the church. I think basically that's it. If you have information or you would like information about it, you can contact me, or you can call the church office. And one lady has already from Othello has already asked me for information about it, which we're going to send out because they think they'd like to start the same kind of program. So, thank you.
Jeff, do you remember what the initial amount of the share grant was?
Off the top of my head, Martin, I think it was $2,000. Right now, our program is funded the word has gotten out into the community. Various groups within the community they come and they observe and they've given money. The casino has given us a grant, and so we're funded now. I don't think, other than that, we need any money from the Synod at this point. It's self-sustaining. However, if you'd like to give us some, why?
Thank you, Jeff. My point is leverage. Leverage. Huh? You ever seen a float plane take off on a lake? You know how they have to do it? They have to hit a certain amount of speed, and then the pilot gets the plane up on the step, they call it. You have to overwhelm the bow wave in order to get up here so that you can launch. Share funds get you up on the step. $5,000 at Sandpoint, Idaho resulted in an 80-unit senior housing center. $5,000. That's leverage. We can do that kind of leverage. It's just like 19 pieces of meat and 25 served, huh?
Good morning. I'm Dave Haven. I'm the pastor at Celebration Lutheran in East Wenatchee, Washington. And I'd like to lift up the ministry of Misael Fajardo Perez, who I think is in the back of the line back there. So he's probably going to share some things too. But as a congregation, we were privileged to have him as an intern nearly 4 years ago. And after that, he started his mission work in the Wenatchee Valley. And we have seen up close the kind of mission work that he does. So just a little snippet. He's been involved with a lot of the children, a lot of the young people over the last few years, and has ministered very deeply with the families, many of whom have broken families, many who are working through immigration issues and so forth. And I've seen up close the kind of the counseling and the passion and the compassion that he has for this ministry. And just recently at an overnight lock-in, some of the children, the young teenagers that he's been working with came, and we sang a song that I'd written years ago about a broken relationship. And in the midst of that song, a couple of those young fellows just started weeping. And afterwards, they decided that was their song as well. And we had a chance to process that. But because of Misael's ministry, the ministry extends into congregations, Grace Lutheran, Celebration Lutheran, and beyond in our valley. So I just want to uplift his ministry, but also the support that you as a synod have given him in his ministry, and also individual congregations. So we hope that this continues for many, many years to come to the Latino community in our valley. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mike Kreckling. I'm one of your future coaches from Ellensburg, First Lutheran in Ellensburg, and also the chair of the stewardship team. And with Bishop Wells talking about leverage, the little story I'd like to share with you is about a Thrive in Action team. A person wanted to do an action team, but they weren't a member, so we worked it out and they became an associate member. Well, the action team they wanted to lead was to help clean up and decorate the Habitat store that's in our location. Well, once that was sent into Thrivent, somebody saw it and saw a connection between Thrivent and Habitat, which is Thrivent Builds, and the local Habitat had some houses. It ended up that Thrivent ended up financing half of the new house, $75,000, through our local Habitat, and groundbreaking is this Saturday, the 23rd of April. So leverage plays a big part, and also so does stewardship, because stewardship involves everything. It involves being gifted, being passionate about something, and finding a way to make God work through that in your community and in your congregation. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. I was going to interject with a little Thrive in Action team, but now I feel like 75 grand. I can't top that. So I am Eric Ortman, pastor at St. Paul Lutheran in Colville. We took a Thrive in Action team and turned it into $8,200 for our preschool. $250 multiplied a few times, but that's actually not why I'm here. I'm actually here to talk about photovoltaic power generation, otherwise known as solar panels. We, a couple of years ago, heard Pastor Alex Schmidt from Leavenworth tell us about their community solar project and went home to Colville and tried to figure out how we could work with the community to create a solar project. And we're with a different utility provider, and it just isn't going to work. Given their strictures and what we could do, we couldn't copy Alex's program. And so we were kind of devastated, didn't know how to go. The project seemed dead. And then one of our friends, actually lives just up the hill from us, installed a system. And we got to talking to him and looking at his roof line and thinking, well, if we can't do it for the community, could we do it just at St. Paul? And we began looking, and there were a few obstacles, few things to happen. But what you see there is 28 280 watts panels that we installed 11 months ago. 11 months ago. We did that for a number of reasons and with tremendous success. One of our reasons is that we're like all the rest of you. Our giving is exceptionally top-heavy. 43% of our income comes from 8 giving units, the average age of which is almost 75. So we were looking long-term into a future that needed to address stewardship and to think about our finances. We also did it as Care for Creation, and we wanted to undertake it as a new ministry, and that really is the point of this short. Our little system is the daughter system of Faith Leavenworth, and we need to say that. It's only there because of them. But it has 9 daughter systems now. We have inspired 9 other local systems from this one. All told, it's about 160 panels throughout Colville. We are working with 4 different congregations. 2 of them I say working, and like I went to Central in exchange with David Kappas and talked to them about it. That's how far we've gone. But 2 other churches in Colville are going to install systems this year. And get going, and it's really cool. I can't speak to Idaho, and so we'd have to do some research and look there. But in Washington State, the time is now. If you want to do this on your congregation, the way we accomplished it was to work with Mission Investment Fund, who's very happy to give you low interest loans. We're at 4.5% on a 5-year loan. And we raised the first year's worth of payments internally. We did that with large donors so that we only had a few people who gave to this project. And the incentives from Washington State will make the payments on our Mission Investment Fund loan for the life of that loan. So we will, after the first year, have 0 output for that loan. And our utility payments, now, we're not a huge building compared to some of you. We're only 8,200 square feet. But we were $299 a month for our payments to our utility. We are at $149 as of today. When I got back from sabbatical at the end of August, we got a rejected check from our provider because our balance was too high, which is really cool. And they did an emergency adjustment. So we're not even at a year, and we're already 50% reduction. So I guess my thing just to you is to say, we have a group of guys who helped install 6 of those 9 daughter systems. We have people who are happy to travel. If you have any interest in this, look us up on Facebook, facebook.com/Colville Lutheran, or stpaulcolville.org, and we would love to hear from you and to help you with your own project and program. Thanks, guys.
My name is Ann Palma. I'm a member of Emmanuel Lutheran in Boise, but 6 weeks ago I completed my pastoral internship at King of Glory Lutheran in Boise. I have 2 things to share with you about exciting projects in that congregation, starting with a sad note. If you've had access to the internet or to the news, you saw that on Thursday, an earthquake hit Kumamoto, Japan, and on Friday, a bigger quake hit. What you may not know is that Kumamoto is the Lutheran center in Japan, and that there has been a Lutheran mission presence in Kumamoto since 1915. King of Glory is in relationship with a long-term missionary couple, Nathan and Sharonette Bowman, who live in Kumamoto, and the Lutheran presence is more than 5 churches and several pastors, some English-speaking, some Japanese-speaking. There's a presence from preschool through university, through seminary. There's a social services present. There are homes for the aged. There are nursing homes and hospitals, and you name it. We give thanks and praise to God that we have news that every ELCA missionary in Kumamoto is safe, that the students there are safe, that my daughter, who is currently studying there, is also safe. King of Glory taught me that it is possible to have a long-term relationship with a single missionary couple, which really puts a face on the work of mission in the world. And so I would encourage you, your congregation, if you're interested, to look at global missions and look into the possibility of having a relationship with long-term missionaries where you can provide financial support, receive information about their missions, and support them directly in prayer and financially. The next thing that I want to mention is a little bit of more information about our African friends who led us so joyfully in song last night. King of Glory, from the ground up, started a ministry called New American Scholars. Asekulu, who led the song, was a professional in his home of Congo. Because he was a professional and because he was a Christian, he was targeted. His life was in danger. He came to Boise over 10 years ago with a couple of daughters, which has since grown to 5 daughters. And King of Glory began a ministry called New American Scholars, which has the aim and the goal that everyone who comes to that congregation from another country will succeed academically. A year ago, they celebrated the graduation of one of their daughters from a prestigious East Coast university. The next one is on the launching pad. She's graduating this year. And what they do is tutoring support for these kids, tutoring them in French, which was one of their parents' first languages, but because they're now Americanized, they're losing. Providing them opportunities to learn about scholarships. How do you apply for these? How do you get them? You're a new American. You need the support. And they didn't limit their support to the kids. Asekulu, who is a highly educated professional in his home country, recently received his associate's degree from College of Washington-Idaho. He's starting over and the congregation is supporting him. Every child that you saw singing joyfully last night here up on the dais will be supported by the congregation in the same way. And we can look for massive, explosive blessings coming out of these people of such deep faith who've known persecutions that most of us can only imagine. So if you are in a position in your congregation where you can serve new Americans or immigrants, feel free to contact King of Glory and ask about their New American Scholars Program.
A little bit of her, tell us what's going on.
Good morning. David Dewey, our CEO, couldn't be here this weekend, but he really wanted to. And he wanted me to let you know how much we appreciate the Synod supporting Lutheran Community Services and the support that they have given for over, our existence, I think. He really wished he could be here, but alas, you get me. Lutheran Community Services wants to extend our sincere appreciation to the Eastern Washington-Idaho Synod for all they do to support us as one of their local ministry partners, especially with the new capital campaign. I want you to know that under the direction of David, we are growing and moving forward to serve more in Spokane, Tri-Cities, and Boise. One of our new programs that just opened in the Spokane area is unaccompanied refugee and immigrant children. So if you are in the Washington area, rest assured that Lisa will be calling you and your congregations looking for volunteers for that program. I want to thank all the churches for their continual support because it's greatly appreciated. I want to take a moment to thank the churches who have over the years provided meeting space and office space for our agency, because they have saved the agency thousands and thousands of dollars. The churches offering space for meetings or staff offices have in some cases literally saved the local Lutheran Community Services agency. Just to give you one example, the Boise office, the Idaho office, would not be here if it weren't for Redeemer Lutheran Church. Who, for the past 8 years, has housed our office at no cost. Thank you for that amazing gift to Lutheran Community Services from all of the congregations who support us in that way. Each congregation here represented is a vital partner to the work that Lutheran Community Services does, and we can never thank you enough for the amazing difference each congregation makes in helping us reach our goals in serving more each year. We can't begin to do this work alone, and we can't ever imagine our offices without the local churches supporting our mission for partnering with individuals, families, and communities for health, justice, and hope. So, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Your generosity makes a beautiful difference in our world. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rolf Vegdahl. I'm from Lake Chelan Lutheran Church in Chelan, Washington. And I just want to tell you about something that's been going on this weekend from the time we began and still is going on. There's a woman from our congregation that found herself called to be an anchorist, and I didn't know what that was, but it's a person who holds up clergy and church work and the world in prayer as a vocation. And Sandy's been here as a person for whom faith isn't always easy, and prayer just is difficult. Knowing that this person is in almost constant prayer in our congregation has been a great comfort and source of grounding. Well, she's been here in the prayer room praying through the Psalms constantly as this assembly has gathered, holding us up in prayer. So I just want you to know that's going on.
Good morning. My name is Misael, and I serve as mission developer for the Wenatchee Valley Lutheran Latino Ministry, and I've been called to be a mission developer and a pastor to the Latino community in the Wenatchee area. And just to give you an update, we continue to minister to the Latino community in a variety of ways. This last year, one of the main events that we had was Las Posadas. 2 years ago, I had invited 3 families to come with me to Holden Village, and that was, I grew up in Mexico City, so I experienced Posadas, but being at Holden was just a whole different experience, and so we were really inspired by that experience. So last year, we were not able to go to Holden, but we organized, and so we did had a posada just around the neighborhood in South Wenatchee, just around the community center. So through that, we were able to encounter the community. So we just had a lot of kids come and dress like angels and shepherds. And we just led a whole community in the evening just around the neighborhood outside. And it was a little chilly, but we got through the posada. So that was just one of the ways that we've encountered the community this last year. So we continue to build on those relationships that we have built, we have encountered, and we continue to build new relationships through different projects in the community. One of the things that I'm really excited is that we're collaborating with nonprofit organizations in the area and for a redevelopment of a park. So it's just right in front of the community centered, and so we're engaging the community, and we're advocating for the community so that they can have a voice in that process as well. So thank you again for your support, and I just can't thank enough our local churches like Celebration and Grace, and just the Synod and the ELCA. It is a shared ministry, and so we are, through this ministry, closing the gap that we have in our community. So thank you again. And I wish I had a version of the We Are Church Together in Spanish. So maybe we can try it out. If you say juntos, would you say? Juntos. All right. Somos iglesia. All right, we got it.
Awesome. Good morning. My name is Lieve Larson Andrews. I serve as the pastor of Salem Lutheran Church, just off downtown in Spokane. And the team from Salem who's here, myself, Sherry Nelson, Tina Weinbarger, and Judith Perala, are grieving. If we live to the Lord, and if we die to the Lord. And I feel like that's kind of the theme of my Synod short. This is the first Synod assembly. We took the van down here from Salem, and then we did not unpack boxes and boxes of books and fair trade chocolate and coffee and gifts for the book parlor. So many of you have kindly asked, where are the books? Where's the chocolate? And so I wanted to come up here and first say that even in our grief over kind of the dormancy of that ministry, we are so incredibly grateful for the unending support and the prayers and the advocacy for the ministry of the book parlor. It had a wonderful 15-year run with a retail space that was part of a coffee shop in Spokane. And that retail space just wasn't financially sustainable. So like I said, the ministry for now is dormant, but Sherry and I and our other volunteers are striving to believe that Jesus likes to raise up dead things, right? So we're not sure what it will look like, but we trust that Christ will call us to come forth in some new fashion. But we need all of you to know that we hung on so long because we thought, what about assembly? What about Convo? Everyone needs us, because you would greet us and say thank you for bringing these resources and keeping us up to date on our scholarship. So we're dedicated to that mission still. We're just not sure what it's going to look like, but would you keep us in prayer? Thanks.
Good morning. My name is Kimmy Meineke, and I am on loan to the Episcopal Church. You, as a Synod, have loaned me out as a full communion partner. I serve St. David's Episcopal Church in Spokane, Washington. Yet I'm also serving a congregation that is involved and has started working with Thrivent, because Thrivent Financial for Christians now, and using an action grant to put together Ziploc baggies with water and cracker and a source of protein and a little sweet treat of little mints inside to give out to homeless folks, rather than giving out money as you're driving your car down the road and you're stopped at a stoplight and somebody has a sign, please help. So to hand a bag of a day's worth of nutrition and water and some support, all of our youth signed the little card inside that says, from St. David's Episcopal, to give a little bright moment to folks who are needing some help. So it was a way to share the resources of the community with folks in need, and that came in large part because of action grant from Thrivent Financial for Christians. So.
Good morning. I'm John Hergert. I'm from Holden Village, Fullness of God. I'm not the pastor there. I actually work in the post office, which is kind of ironic considering my father was a postmaster of the little town I grew up in. Hello, Endicott. Elaine talked about Holden a little bit earlier and about opportunities here, but one of the things that's easy to happen up at Holden is you can feel a sense of being disconnected, because you This year, of course, was the fire, and we felt so connected by so many of our ministry partners. Most people don't know, or maybe you know or not, we actually didn't get evacuated once. We got evacuated 2 and 3 times because where we went down from the time of the fire at Holden, we were at the B&B that's there. We got evacuated from there. Then we went into Chelan. Well, Chelan blew up that day too, so we got evacuated from there. But we had some incredible ministry partners, the people at Lake Chelan Lutheran Church, who allowed us to put in our office there. We gathered with them every week for worship. When we got evacuated, where do we go? We go to Celebration Lutheran Church in East Wenatchee, and they let us sleep in their facility for 3 weeks, and provide food for us, provide sustenance and nurturing for us, and other organizations, people from Grace Lutheran, people from Hand in Hand, which is an immigration group that's in Wenatchee, the Grunwald Guild. We also went there for a period of time. It really felt like we were connected, and it is just an honor to be a part of a synod that embraced our tragedy and turned it into not a wonderful event. I went up to Holden for peace and quiet last. You can call last summer many things. Peace and quiet was not one of them. But to be felt loved and supported by all of you. So thank you, and especially thank you to those groups that I mentioned that really were involved in the day-to-day taking care of a group of refugees, and that was nice. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for this wonderful weekend, and it's been really great. I have a couple announcements. Name tags, lanyards, voting cards. There's recycle boxes at the doors. Please put them in so we can use them again for next year. Same with the notebooks. If you don't want to take it home, some of you you came as couples or something, may have a couple. We can recycle those. If you're going to use them, go ahead and take them home. One thing we don't want you to recycle or leave here is these beautiful bags that Mission Investment Fund has donated for us. Go ahead, use them. They're good grocery bags. There's also back by the fireplace room, there's some fruit, so you can take a bag full of fruit home too. I really want to thank my team. Is Julia here? Where is she? But Gib and the tech guys have done a great job. We've been able to see and hear through the whole time. I've had people running around doing all kinds of stuff, from ushering and fruit baskets and the whole works. And I'm looking for Julia because she's not going to come. Okay. Well, let's give Julia a big hand anyway, because she did a great job. Now, in our congregation, I'm going to sneak in here and get my short in. In our congregation, we had a woman come to us who was, she was close to 80 years old, and she had not been a Lutheran. She had not been a Christian. She came to us in our food bank and started coming to our congregation. She loved us and felt at home. She didn't look like us or talk like us, but she loved us. And so she went through some classes with Pastor Tom. And so when we installed her as a member of our church, she stood there and looked and said, "Am I Lutheran now?" I said, "Yeah, you're Lutheran." And she said, "Hallelujah, I'm a Lutheran." And we said, "Lutherans don't do that." But I'm going to ask all of you to stand up. Come on, stand up, and we're all going to say, "Hallelujah, I'm a Lutheran." Let's try to do it all together. You ready? Hallelujah, I'm a Lutheran. Thank you very much. We're going to have worship back here about 10:30.